Yo guys, what's up? One Up Ty here, bringing you guys a first Descendant build guide for Ultimate Viessa. I'm not gonna lie, I usually look to other YouTubers to build out my Descendants, but I couldn't find a Viessa build that I really liked, so I tried out my own build and I really love it. I'm gonna start off by saying that this build is focused around ability spam. I wanted to squeeze out enough damage that I can one-shot most of the enemies in a mob, and we do hit that most times. With that being said, it's not going to be a fantastic dungeon boss damage build, but you'll still be able to dish out some respectable damage because of your cooldowns. I was able to solo the final boss in Asylum pretty comfortably, as you'll see from the gameplay later on. I think this build is super strong, super ability spammy, and can excel anywhere other than void intercept fights. Obviously you would need a bossing build for that. It's definitely not quite ultimate bunny level effective for ad clearing, but personally, if all you do is play bunny, I think the game would be kind of boring. There are so many cool descendants, and if you're looking for a new one to invest into, Viessa gets my endorsement. So without further ado, let's get into it. So we're going to take a look at the mods that we use for Viessa. Now, first things first, we have to talk about the Transcendent module, and that's going to be Absolute Zero. This turns all of your skills into singular, which is nice because you can boost the power of all of your skills, which brings me to my next two mods, which are the two focus mods. First, we have Focus on Chill, which gives you the 77% chill skill power, along with a little bit of skill cooldown. We also have Focus on Singular, which gives you your 68% singular skill power modifier, as well as a little bit of additional skill cooldown. The only other two mods that you need to boost your damage are crit rate increase mods. I have Skill Insight for the 115% increase and Emergency Measures for the 64% crit rate and 27% crit damage. Honestly, I look more for crit rate because you're already doing a pretty substantial amount of damage. I felt like the crit damage would be kind of overkill. Next, we'll take a look at our range mods. We have Skill Expansion, which expands your range an additional 92%, and we have Amplification Control for an additional 52% and some shields for a little extra survivability. I did test this slot with Maximize Range, and there were a couple instances where higher health targets survived, but it didn't have any impact on slaying regular enemies. It's definitely an option to use Maximize Range here, but keep in mind that your survivability will be a little bit worse. Personally, I prefer Amplification Control for peace of mind, but Maximize Range is by no means bad. Next up, we have our cooldown mods, pretty standard stuff here, Nimble Fingers and MP Conversion. This final slot here that isn't catalyzed is kind of a flex slot depending on what you want to add into your build. I wanted a little bit of extra range, and Frugal Mindset also reduces your skill cost, so I tried it out and it worked really well. If you're worried about your mana, you can swap this for MP Collector, which works extremely well since you're usually slaying out. Some other options are anything that adds duration for your Blizzard. Personally, my recommendation for those would be MP Accelerant and Skill Extension. Those would be my recommendations for that slot. You would obviously have to catalyze this last slot to be Rutile, but that's kind of nice because all of these duration mods are all Rutile, and if you ever just want to disable it, you can go back into this little menu here and change it back to a common slot. That's basically it for modules. Now let's take a look at our reactor and components. So for the reactor, it really doesn't matter what weapon mounting you have. It's up to your preference. I like to have a gun I use pretty frequently, so I got this reactor with a Thunder Cage, which was pretty lucky. I pretty much run around with my Thunder Cage, but I don't use it. It's just for the skill boost. Obviously, since we're using Absolute Zero, which transforms all your abilities to singular, you're going to want a chill singular reactor, and for your random rolled stats, there's a lot of options. My reactor has extra cooldown and a boost to chill skills. You could get extra range, you could get skill duration, you could get singular boost, you could get crit hit rate. All of those would be good options. It's kind of up to your preference and how sane you want to stay when you're farming for one of these. The other thing to mention is how to get one of those chill singular reactors. So if you go into your difficulty level rewards down here and you search for chill and singular, you can see that right now this week you can only get a chill singular reactor with impact rounds or high power rounds. If you're wanting to get it for a very specific weapon, you would go into all rewards here and you can see how long until the next schedule comes out. So obviously we have 8 hours here, and you would search for your chill singular boost here. So if we scroll through, we should see Okay, so it looks like we have in the Agna Desert next week, we have chill singular general rounds, and we also have in the Echo Swamp chill singular with the orange rounds. I forgot the name of it, but that would be how you get your perfect reactor. And that's going to do it for the reactor. Let's move on to the components. Now for your components, the more you can invest into your MP recovery, that's definitely what you're going to want. If you have decent rolls, I recommend the Slayer set for a boost to your skill power if you have the whole set. This Slayer drops from Hard Pyromaniac, which can be a bit of a pain, but it's definitely well worth the grind. It's the best set in the game right now. On my power, I have MP recovery out of combat and max HP with a defense roll. On my sensor, I have max MP and MP recovery in combat. The other two components really don't matter what rolls you have on them, so I try to lean more into survivability. Things like increased defense and HP are great here. If you have a roll you like on your memory with an MP recovery modifier, definitely throw that on. It makes your MP regen even faster when you meet the conditions of being in or out of combat. Honestly, the most important and useful stat is MP recovery out of combat, especially if you're running through a dungeon trying to get from one spot to the next. In the time it takes you to get there, you could fully recover your MP for free. This is definitely priority number one for your components, and that's basically it as far as components go. Guys, that's basically it for the build. I'm going to leave some more gameplay here in case the intro clip didn't convince you that the build is super strong. This is hard mode Asylum, and you can see we had no issues with our mana. We were spamming all of our abilities like crazy, and we barely used our Thunder Cage. Give this build a try and let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If this did help you out at all, drop a like on the video. It helps me out a ton, and consider subscribing for more First Descendant content. I do stream over on Twitch and Kick at 1UpTie. Would love to chat with you guys over there. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Have a great rest of your day and enjoy the build.